This is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we're on another field trip. I'm here in South Florida. We're just in a standard residential area, just like how I live, but this is residences here in South Florida. Much more tropical, and I love tropical weather. Here's his neighbor's house, just has regular, tropical landscaping, but if we come over to his front yard, and most of the stuff he's growing is actually in the backyard, but he has a couple cool things in the front yard. We have two huge moringa trees. So I had a couple viewers that were really interested in moringa. So we have two huge moringa trees, and I was told that these are not hurricane proof because what happened is on the hurricane, this actually just pulled up a little bit. And these trees grow really fast. They're one of the fastest growing trees, and for those that don't know, moringa is an edible leaf you could eat. Now they don't taste all that good raw, but they're very nutritious, and you could buy dried moringa powder, but I've heard they usually blanch them and then dry them and then powder them up. But they're really good. And what they normally do is they let them grow, probably just a few feet tall. Then they whack it down and just cut the tree down. And then they use all the, the smaller leaves, and then the tree will then re-sprout and regrow again until it grows up. Then they whack it down again. And that's how they do it. So he has two nice moringa trees. I wish I could have moringa trees this big. I have about 4 small moringa trees right now, and they're not liking the cold in California, so I brought them in the greenhouse. And we're at Bruce's place, and Bruce has some edible trees here in his front yard, but he's growing even a lot more in his backyard, and we're going to go in the backyard in a second and check it out. Just right here he has a neem tree. It's good herb for herbal uses, a dragon fruit, and also he needed a solution for basically hiding his garbage cans in the back there. So he planted this other basic shrub. It's called Suriname cherry, and so it produces an edible fruit, and it also does a great job hiding his garbage cans. So let's go ahead and talk to Bruce. So hey Bruce, why do you decide to start planting all this food?
I guess I got tired of the trips to the different grocery stores trying to find fresh, organic, reasonably priced greens to juice with. So a lot of things survive here in spite of my brown thumb.
No, that's a really good point though, because a lot of my viewers, may not have ever even gardened before, and it's good for them to know that even though you have a brown thumb, and many of you guys out there in the audience might have a brown thumb, things still grow. You just got to plant the right things. I'm sure Bruce has found out what is easier to grow and what is harder, and he probably focuses on the things that are easy, right?
Right. If they don't grow at first,
throw in the towel.
Then they just get sort of trampled underfoot. And the things that recover, sometimes I've forgotten what they are.
So that's a secret and a tip that everybody should use. And as we go through basically growing in South Florida, you'll see the different things that he's growing, and those are the things you want to grow, because those are the things, even if you have brown thumbs, you'll be able to grow too. So let's head in the backyard and check it out. So we're here in Bruce's backyard, and the first thing that strikes you when you walk in is all these containers that he has, and he's growing like food in every single one except for maybe a few that he's maybe rotating out. And good thing they're empty, because he'll be sure to show us how they're assembled and how they're made, and how you could do it too. So Bruce, why did you decide to start to grow in containers?
I tried one year growing in the ground, and the bugs, the animals, and just the soil, remembering to water was too difficult. But with this bin system, most of those problems are eliminated. The insects can't get in. It's up out of the way of the animals, and they have a special water reservoir in the bottom so that you don't have to water them every day. The roots can go down and seek that water and get the hydration they need.
So now Bruce is going to show us how you make the bins. It's just really simple.
These are storage bins from Walmart.
Walmart's good for something.
They're made by Sterilite, and using a system developed by Suzanne at Funky Chicken Farms in Melbourne. You cut the lid out, stand it on these legs.
And that's like irrigation pipe or drainage pipe?
That's drainage pipe with slots in it. And then the container on the outside has a hole in it for the water to drain out when it gets to a certain level. And when you put the dirt in here, there's always water for the roots to reach down in so they can water themselves.
So it looks like there's some holes in here, and you're just using zip ties to secure the hose pipe in there, right?
Right. And then you fill it through this pipe here until the excess comes out the overflow. This is last year's basil.
Man, that's huge.
I'm saving it for the seed. Here's some seed that's ready to harvest right here. Here's one of these things that came back, and I forgot what it is.
Is that oregano? Smells like oregano.
That's what it smells like.
They really last. Dandelion.
Dandelion.
It's huge.
A mystery.
Pepper plant.
Is it?
It's
A
pepper
mystery.
plant,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cranberry
Or
hibiscus.
false roselle.
Okay. Miramar spinach.
Is it also called? Oh no, this is Miramar spinach. We call this Malabar spinach or vine spinach.
Malabar
spinach or vine spinach. This one's Okinawan spinach, right?
Right.
And same with this one.
This is great for wraps.
Yeah, these grow so big here in Florida. Like mine aren't nearly this big. They're really like the tropics. New Zealand spinach, right? You got New Zealand spinach here. So we're here with Bruce, and I know you guys are thinking, well, hey, Bruce, what do you fill, the bins up? He showed you the construction, real simple construction. You could get the Sterilite containers at Walmart, cut them out, and when you have the cutout lids, you could actually use them on the top. Kind of makes it look a little bit nicer. And then I asked him, hey, Bruce, what do you fill it with? So what do you fill it with?
Dirt.
That's
So
good.
I didn't know. There's a whole culture or religion, dare I say,
Oh, absolutely.
about dirt.
There's a really good documentary. It's called Dirt, the movie. Have you seen
No,
it? You might
no.
want to check it out.
No,
Yeah. Really good documentary on dirt.
I really had no interest in dirt when I started this, and I still don't. So I go to the box store and I get the potting mix, which is lighter than the garden mix. I tried that because it was cheaper, but it's too heavy to put in the bin.
So the garden mix doesn't work.
You're right, it doesn't whip
Oh,
the
wow.
water up as well as.
Well, that's really good
It's the
tip.
potting mix. Whatever they put in the potting mix seems to work.
Well, yeah. I mean, after all, these are basically pots.
Right. Now I'm sure you could make these out of wood, and you could make your own dirt out of, coconut husks and
Coconut core and
composted
compost,
worm,
yeah.
blah blah blah.
But you're not a gardener by trade, right? I mean, he has all this stuff growing, and he has. Let me see your thumbs. Brown thumbs, right there. But I mean, most people out there,
That's why I can't use the machete anymore.
So he just gets this good old Miracle-Gro potting mix.
Oh, we said it. Didn't
I
we?
said it.
All right.
So although I don't, necessarily, I recommend maybe an organic potting mix. This is what he's using, and look, I mean, it's still working. And he's growing food, and that's the important thing. So even if you can't get organics, it's more important, in my opinion, to start growing your food. But of course, I strongly encourage you to use organics and compost when you're growing.
Right. So for instructions on how to build these bins, go to funkychickenfarm.com in Melbourne, or call Suzanne there.
Melbourne, Florida.
Melbourne, Florida. Yeah.
What we're going to do now is we're going to chop down a moringa tree because we're going to propagate it, and basically you do that by cutting it down, and then if you put it in the soil, in the ground, and this is like a moringa tree that was chopped down, and it was just basically a stem, and you just put it in the ground, it'll actually grow new roots, and that's how easy it is to make a new tree. And then once you cut it down, a new tree will grow up in its place. And you could harvest the leaves at this point on a lot of the tree. And many people don't know, I was just at the trade show for the health food industry, and they sell powdered moringa leaf dried. So that's very valuable stuff. So they use it to make teas and put in foods and everything. It's going to be it's very, very nutritious. So let's go ahead and check out if I could chop down the moringa tree in one fall machete swipe.
All right.
All right, so here we go. There we
Yay!
go. Nice cut. Here's the whole tree in my hand. It's falling off. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm trimming all the extra branches off the moringa tree. And we're gonna take these branches and basically dehydrate the leaves at a low temperature. And then what'll happen is they'll turn into this stuff, just the dried leaf powder that you could use. And this is good to use like this, or you could actually just, instead of dehydrating it, you could use the leaves fresh, but they're not gonna last that long. And then what Bruce has here is he has a Moringa for Life powdered moringa. So it's basically this stuff just powdered into a bag that's actually being sold as a health food now. They use it in teas, you could add it to different foods, and check it out. 20 ounces of moringa powder, $52. So we're trimming all this stuff off. This is money on the ground. Moringa, gram for gram, has 10 times the vitamin A than carrots, 15 times the potassium in bananas, 16.7 times the calcium, and 8.7 times the protein of milk. So this is very protein rich. 3 times the iron of spinach, and 0.6 the vitamin C of oranges. So moringa is really nutritious stuff. It can be grown easily in the tropics. I'm growing some in California in my greenhouse. Didn't like when it got too cold or too wet. But we're gonna see how it goes. My plants are just little babies. But you could buy seeds of the moringa tree online and you could grow your own moringa. If you do live in a climate where it frosts, you definitely need to grow it inside because it's not gonna make and not take the cold at all. So now we're gonna transplant the moringa. We've trimmed it down to a nice size that's usable. And we just basically had a nice clean cut on the bottom. We dug a deep hole and we just put a bunch of water in the hole. And it's pretty deep there. Then we're just gonna basically stick this in the ground. And the main thing you wanna remember is you wanna try to keep this moist. You know, if it dries out, it's not gonna be too good. We're gonna just stick that in the ground, push it down in there, fill it in a little bit, and call it a day. That's it. So easy to transplant a moringa. So we're leaving Bruce's house and we got a lot of moringa. We chopped out a couple of moringa trees actually. We transplanted a couple at his place. And we're gonna take this and transplant some of it. And we're also gonna dry the leaves at low temperature so that we could have powdered moringa. I mean, that stuff is really nutritious and expensive. So this is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time and grow some moringa. It's good stuff.